When I was a teenager, I would often buy records because I loved music. In my hometown, Birmingham, there were a lot of record stores, such as the Discovery and Virgin Records. I often went to those record stores, but every Saturday, without fail, I would always go to Cyclops Sounds. Cyclops Sounds wasn't the best record shop in Birmingham. In fact, probably it was the worst, but it was very special. In that story, I told you about 3 habits that I had in the past. So the first habit was I would often buy records. The second habit, I often went to record stores. And the third habit, I would always go to Cyclops Sounds. So we have 2 different structures that mean I had a habit in the past. Their basic meaning is the same, but their nuance is very different. And knowing the nuance and using the nuance can make your English much more interesting for the listener to listen to, especially when you're telling stories about the past. I often went to record stores. I sometimes ate fish and chips. I occasionally did my homework. These sentences just show facts in the past. All we're hearing is a fact, something about the past, a habit in the past. There's no strong feeling, no emotion to those sentences. We're just learning facts. If you only use this kind of sentence, your past stories will sound boring. So it's important to use other forms of English to make your stories more interesting. I would always go to Cyclops Sounds. I would often play cricket. I would sometimes go to the cinema. When we use this form, it sounds much more interesting and there's much more emotion. And the people who are listening to our story understand that emotion, so they want to listen more. They're more interested in our story, and they also want to ask questions about our story. It adds a lot of emotion. It makes your storytelling much better. At school, I often played football, but I would occasionally play cricket. In this sentence, it's obvious that I was much more interested in cricket, and cricket was a better sport for me. Football was okay, but cricket has a much more strong effect on me. I want to talk about cricket. This makes people want to ask me questions about cricket. They understand I have emotion about cricket, but not so much emotion about football. When I lived in Osaka, I often went to Umeda, but I would occasionally go to Namba. So again, in this story, the listener understands it was my habit to go to Umeda, but maybe Umeda wasn't special for me. But going to Namba was special for some reason, and they want to ask me questions about Namba. If you use sentences such as, I would often eat, I would sometimes go to, I would occasionally study, the people listening to you will be interested in your story, will want to listen to your story, and will have questions about your story. So use it.